Hello, this is Teresa Phelps Martin in a virtual realm sharing with you the energetics of August 2021. Just as a little recap really quickly, the energetics come from the cosmic alignment of the heavens, that energy that influences us because we live here on Earth. We are a part of a grand system, and that system contains you, and you are also in and of this energy. So as a reminder, I'm going to share these insights just as so many other people who are inspired and guided by the heavens above, but reminding you that you hold authority. You are in charge of you. There is a really important thing to remember, that we are co-creating. We are co-creating with the energy within ourselves, our immediate environment, the people that are in our life, the people that love and adore us, and even the people that ruffle our feathers. So we co-create with the highest energy, and this is just here to be of service and guidance, as I will confess that knowing this allows me to respond with greater authenticity, integrity, and remembrance of my own personal resilience. So August is here, and it's starting off with quite a good hit of our own challenges and how we communicate and how we can speak with a greater sense of love and connection to humanity. August will end with a big sort of like, wow, wasn't that quite the month? And we will feel at the end of the month more of an energy in our relationships with our environment, the space around us, how we've produced things and been productive. And we're gonna feel good. Won't that be nice? We're gonna feel good, at least in my opinion. I believe we're gonna be there. So in that idea, we have a predominantly fiery season. It's full on summer. And so that fire energy is that reminder to stoke the flame, right? To really sit by the sunlight, and anything that the sun touches, it transforms. So keep that in mind. And there's no real way of avoiding the sun. And it's essential. It's our vitality. So respecting that, honoring that, and knowing that this is the source of your own authenticity, your creativity, your boldness. We will have this fiery energy, but it's really just in this vitality. We're gonna feel a lot of grounding of how can we be of service? How can our authenticity be productive in the relationships of our lives? Of if we know where we're going, how are we engaging and embodying our own true self? How are we feeling this connection to our words, to our thoughts, to the conversations? And are we communicating these from a place of love to support love? And love in that idea of however you want to define it, but it's not Hallmark love. It's not pretend. It's not make-believe. It is that energy that sustains each and every single one of us. So can you make the connection? Can you stoke the fire pit of your own heart and recognize that when we bring this structure to ourselves, we can really be of service? And we're gonna feel that ability to be of service in both how we receive, this receptivity, and also how we engage and what we bring forward. So remember, every place you show up, your energy is transmuted to the space around you and beyond. That our choices have an impact. And while you might think you're just choosing for yourself, your choices have a ripple effect, okay? So give structure, feel that vision of being in service, being in that ability to identify what needs to get done without getting overzealous, okay? Without getting ahead of yourself or full of yourself. And when we feel this energy, we're gonna feel a lot of dialogue in different ways. So open yourself up to the many ways we communicate and connect, listening to the messages, feeling how you can ground this energy and anchor in and come back to that source of love, that creative, how do you shine? What allows you to shine? How is that light being illuminated in the container that is you, your physical body, but really the way you digest the light, the way you analyze, you engage, you embody, and you bring it forward into your daily essence. And in that energy, we're in a land of feeling like a personal ability to move forward, whereas the bigger picture is still in review. So we have a little bit of, I don't want to say conflict, but tension, where you might have the ideas of what it's going to take to step forward to bring the nourishment that can feed yourself and your relationships and just this new structure that we're stepping into. But it's not that new structure isn't fully known. It's in a place of reflectivity. So it's a push-pull, if you will. And you use that insight however it serves you. And with that, know that there's just kind of this ability to breathe a little deeper, like to get closer to an exhalation, but we won't feel the inhale really starting to come until the end of the month. We have this kind of regrouping of the lunar unfolding. And when I talk about the lunar unfolding, remember the moon is always the moon. The moon appears to us in different phases. So being in that receptivity of the cycle and the nature of your own life, that is constant. The moon is a rock. It is the only natural satellite that spins around the earth. And it influences the tides, and the way the earth and moon spin together around the sun influences agriculture, our seasons, and you can't deny that. So realize we're in the thick of summer, right? The hotness, the sizzle. And so through that energy, we're gonna have this ability to rebirth our own brilliance. And in that rebirth of our own brilliance, there's the encouragement with the new moon in Leo that happens on August 8th, is to actually to think out to the full moon in Aquarius that's going to happen on August 21st, 22nd, depending on where you live. That what is it that you want to expand and grow for the greater good, that then you can bring it in to your own sense of self with this new moon. So we have to actually think all the way out to the end of the month and then come back to the beginning of the month and feel, okay, like, for example, I'll be transparent. I want to continue to articulate the way to connect with your own innermost self so you can actually breathe deeply, feel comfortable in your own skin, and be the hero in your own life so that you can bring that light forward, your purpose, your sense of self, how you can be of service as you walk here on earth to be of service of those you encounter. It's not about accomplishing, but it's like being really connected to the wisdom that only you contain and connecting into that so you can bring it forward. So if I thought to the future of the end of the month, then I can think of what is that going to illuminate? It's going to illuminate for everybody, the audience, It's a full moon at the very end of Aquarius. So yes, air signs. This moon will hit you depending on your birthday. So that gets a little complicated. However, or your moon or your rising sign. Okay, so if you have an air sign, this full moon will shine light on how your light is being received. Okay, your audience, those who applaud your hopes and dreams. And the full moon's with Jupiter, so it's going to be big and expansive. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So let's go back to the new moon in Leo at the midpoint of Leo, that it's starting this kind of more natural unfolding of the new moon will be in Leo, the full moon will be in Aquarius, the new moon will be in Virgo, the full moon will be in Pisces. More natural unfolding of the opposition. And everything is in opposition because that's how we meet in the center. Okay, so the new moon is just this chance to look at all the changes we've been, there's still so much uncertainty and the tension and the agitation and the exhaustion. So when we come to that new moon energy of August 8th, look at your own light, your unconditional, your own brilliance, and how can you be even more deeply in love with yourself. So when we move through this lunar cycle and we feel the grand opposition of a full moon, that we can truly stand in that light of ourselves and allow it to expand and the way that it can be received and applauded and bring forward the benevolence. Okay? And then we will close out the month with the closing square of this mundane lunar cycle. There are bigger cycles into it. So you could think 6 months ago, what was your intention when we had this new moon in Aquarius? You can even think to 18 months ago when this new cycle really began for this full moon. You'll get an understanding of 18 months ago what really began for you. So that's a year and a half ago. And what really began for you that is now in full illumination. Well, the moon was in Aquarius, and I can just think back to where I was in February of 2020. So where were you in February of 2020? Late February of 2020. So all these things are just a chance to reflect, to revisit, and to reclaim your authentic light, the energy of you within, your creative source that you can bring forward, and kind of your soul's promise that you know that there's something within that you're here to share. And it doesn't have to be your ability to fly out of space, because we know that requires a lot of resources. It might be the simplest thing of invoking a new habit to be in service of your daily life that comes forward with this lunar cycle. So the moon, when we get to the end of the month and we have this closing square, it's really about integrating this whole journey that we've been in for the whole month, integrating it into our physical embodiment, the ability to connect and to our being, and the way we've digested this whole journey of this month, of this year, of the past 18 months, and how are we going to continue to do the work? The work that's not about hauling the heavy load, but really being aware of your choices, how you respond, what you're resonating with, the rapport, these just different layers. And then September will kind of unfold, and I don't want to go too far, so I'm not going to say much more. But know that this time right here, right now, it's hot with summer, that we can see the harvest coming too, that soon we'll be putting closure on these days. The days are getting shorter, and we will be able to harvest from that energy as the month comes to an end. So I think that's enough, right? Enough to understand what the energetic signature is. The personal planets move quickly. especially Mercury. So your mind might just have a lot of chatter. So if the mind has a lot of ideas, a lot of ways it wants to produce, a lot of ways that it really wants to do justice, be the witness. Breathe, meditate, hold space for your light to shine. Venus she's racing through Virgo, and she will be in Libra by the end of the month. So our values, our priorities, the way we beautify things. Like, so if there's things you've needed to clean out. Be the kind of dutiful version that understands the work we do can bring forward the justice and the beauty and the design we care for. And Mars is ready, like, oh yeah, I'm on board. I know it's all about. The drive, the ambition is there. The asteroids, the goddesses, are in that reminder of what are you choosing? How are you nurturing those choices? How are you re-engaging with the relationships, with your own beliefs, your faith? And from a higher vantage point, we have a reflection of the wisdom that our guides are giving us, and how our soul's light is really carrying the briefcase of our identity. If that makes sense, then thank you for listening. And that ability to know how are we tending to the sacred flame, and if we can really do that work, if we can dress up in the attire to bring the beauty forward, to take all the information that we've reflected upon and sit with that and sit with it within our home and be of service to your own light and your sacred source, then you will find that the transformational power of bringing that light forward will support each other. And we have the social planets of expansion and contraction, both in the sign of Aquarius, which is restructuring and revolutionizing and shifting our nervous system. So there's a lot of evidence for the big shift that we're in, the unprecedented times, and we're alive right now. We are alive. So let the love of all things, for the greater humanity, for the bigger picture, be what is expansive as you allow for the new infrastructure to come forward. And then the transpersonal planets of Uranus, which is still in Taurus, which is changing our relationship and uprooting what we thought was steady and good, is going to start to reflect and ask for greater reflection. Whereas Pluto is, I skipped over Neptune. Neptune is in the, like, really listen to your dreams, but don't be misled. Okay, and Pluto is still in that transformation of changing those structures. We're not done yet. So to finish up, I wanted to share just for the energetic signature for fire signs this month. You're gonna still feel the intensity of releasing, and it's important to heal so you can recreate from that sense of faith. Like, you can really source that energy of creativity and authenticity. Earth signs, so fire signs are Leo, Sag, and Aries. Earth signs, you are Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. You're productive in that personal change, and you know that the change that you're making for yourself helps on the grander scale. There's commotion around your engagement and how it's being renovated still. And revisit the transformation of you. You're on the threshold, so get clear and, like, what do you want to embody as you're invited to cross over this threshold in the near future. Air signs, which are Libra and Aquarius and Gemini, you're really get to have the new language. You're bringing, like, let's say it's the vernacular of this 21st century, of this new land. You're getting pushed out of the comfort zone. Not everybody understands you. But know that you really have a hand in this change, and you can help us learn how to fly in this new terrain. Okay, so this new language and technology supports authenticity, and the intellectual, which is your creative energy, by the way, the intellectual is your creative energy around, but keep it in your immediate space, right? Keep it close, keep it in, and know that it's going to help the collective. And then water signs, pass water out to everybody. Okay, nourish yourself, hydrate, dream, connect to those dreams, call in the highest, call in your guides, call in your angels, and nourish those so that you can receive and you can really reimagine, that you get to be in that place of mothering this new vision that holds the magic, even though it's still very mysterious. But you know that it comes from this soul's light, from your intuition. So drink the water to bring that intuition forward, and it'll inspire others. If you're curious about your own personal energetic signature, it is contained in your soul's promise, which is that moment in which your soul received embodiment and individuated into this own entity known as your natal chart. And the energetic signature is kind of the undercurrent of your chart. You can sign up for a reading via my website, www.teresaphelpsmartin.com. You can personally message me or email me, but let's get something set up so you can understand yourself more fully and be centered and allow that shot light to allow its brilliance to come forward, so together we can illuminate the path that we're all traversing together. So book a reading or look at your sun sign, look at your moon sign, look at your rising sign, so that you can get a feel for how these energies influence you. There's a lot of earth energy this month, a lot of fire energy, a lot of air energy. And then we're gonna move into a lot more air as we move forward. And so to be continued, as always. August is a good month to just revisit your personal endeavors and how you're engaging with the light of your true self and allowing that light to come forward, to shine for the world, to bring that wisdom of your own true self. So be real, be true, and be soulfully you, straight from my heart to yours. I will come again for September. The soul scopes will be there for the Leo new moon and the Aquarium full moon. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you be good to you. And once again, this is just offering from the guidance that comes to me to ground my own light, to encourage you to live your true light so the world can see and we can shine brilliantly together.